Hello, my mortal lovelies. That is what I'm going to call you. That's what I'm going to call all of us as we embark upon our weight loss journeys, and hopefully we share our weight loss journeys and build each other up, because in the end, that is what I want the space of my channel to be. I want it to be, no matter what diet you're on, what program you're following, we build each other up, we encourage each other, and this is a dogma-free zone. What does that mean by dogma? Why do we even care much about dogma? So obviously I am morbidly obese. I have been obese my entire life, probably since the age of, honestly, probably since the age of like 12. And over the years, I feel like I'm kind of spiraling. I circle around, but I'm getting closer to the bullseye and having things click with me. And so I want to share, there's a little critter behind me. I think it is a dove that's nesting. Okay, I will try not to be distracted by every little thing that I hear. So anyways, I want to share some of the things that I've learned along the way, and in hopes that you can make it to where you're not 46 years old and you still haven't been successful on whatever weight loss path that you've chosen. And so that's what this space is here for me. This last year, I've made a concerted effort to try and finally lose the weight. I kind of said, Uncle, I surrender. I'm going to bring in some of the professionals, and I'm going to pay lots of money for trainers. I'm going to pay lots of money for coaches. And obviously, they were not successful for me for different reasons. Some not because of their program. Some it was just me and where I was at currently in my life. But one thing that I am very passionate about right now, and I would like to bitch about right now, is the dogma diet cultures and influencer gurus who are out there. And there is a little bird that's like, will you hush up? I'm trying to nest back here. So what I'm trying to get at with that is, I don't want this channel to be where people shit on anything that other people are doing. We need to get better, as we're all trying to get better and we're all trying to be well, to be more tolerant of the different paths that people take. And so if that's vegan, it's not necessarily screaming at the people who are carnivore, vegan, calories in, calories out. There's all these different ways of eating and ways of approaching health and weight loss, and they all get very, very opinionated. And something that I find just detestable is that you will have people that are having success. They're achieving weight loss. They are healthy. All their blood markers are getting better. They're feeling good. They're living their life more. And you will have somebody on the other side who's of a different dogmatic persuasion who tries to act like, oh, well, you haven't really healed. This is going to come back. Something's going to happen to you. You're going to gain all the weight back. And that's just not true. And that's just really sick to say to people, because let's just say it does happen for some people that happens, but that happens for every way of eating for many reasons that aren't even necessarily related to the diet or the way of eating. So for you to say that to a person is just really disgusting. And I really hope that people can back away from that, and basically I'm calling them shitters and people who just shit on the successes of other people. And so I hope that we will not do as much of that there. Because here's the thing in the end. So one of the wisdoms that I would like to share with people of my channel is that there are people on this earth in all of history who have lived very wonderful, long, happy, healthy lives doing every form of eating under the sun. So one thing that I am a little bit passionate about is you will have people out there between, like, let's say the vegans and the fruitarians and the carnivore people. There's this phrase that is said, our species-specific diet. And there's people who are very dogmatic about what our species should be eating. And they'll look at your teeth, and they'll look at the length of the small intestine and the large intestine. They'll look at our Paleolithic ancestors, and they will come to these great conclusions. One of them might be true, okay? But here's the thing that I think that a lot of these people who want to be right and to want to have the best diet, the very bestest that's out there, one thing I think that they don't realize is that they're losing the plot. They're losing the plot. And what is that plot? For me, and I think for most people, the plot is I want to live a good, healthy, long life, but I want to feel well the entire time that I'm doing it. I don't want to live to eat. I don't want to live just so that and eat a perfect diet so that I can live a little bit longer. I want that quality of life to be good. And I don't want to have my entire life consumed about diet. I want to be able to go about my life in a normal human way for what is normal in our current day and age, which arguably it's not normal. But still, it's ours. It's the only one we've got. And so we need to have a diet that supports us through our lifestyle. And so you will never hear species-specific diet from me, even though I have my beliefs on what I do think at this point in time approximates closer to the way let's say our genes want us to eat. But I think it's different for everybody. And I don't even want to say I think it's different for everybody. It is objectively different. There are different cultures on this planet who have eaten everything from, highly plant-based, lots of root vegetables, lots of honey, to people like the Inuit who are eating, mostly animal and animal fats. Okay. And then everything in between. And these groups of people, most of them are very adapted to their environment. They're very active and they're very, very healthy. All of these different ways of eating, provided that they're getting enough calories and provided, they're getting enough sunlight and they're fine. I mean, these cultures, so long as they don't die of injury and infection first, there's generally kind of just a human lifespan and they're mostly, living out to old age and they're happy. So one thing that I want to, get to is, just for an example, I've been different things in my life. I have been vegan for 5 years. I am no longer vegan right now. That's for another story that we can discuss. But that being said, back when I first went vegan, it felt amazing to me. It was like I was coming more from standard American diet at that point. So veganism was like an elimination diet and it was working very well for me and I felt great. And I was doing the whole foods, low fat vegan, the one that the doctors who are plant-based kind of recommend that you do. So that's the one that I was doing. I had a lot of success. I lost about 80 pounds and then life happened. Things crept up. I became more of a dirty vegan, and Oreo. And there's, I live in Southern California and there is vegan pizza and vegan Thai food. So, and I was going through a lot of life situations that I'll leave for another time. And I put on the weight. And so I got to this point where I'm at now where veganism was making me feel miserable. And I paid a lot of money to a vegan coach, and I really gave it my all and I was feeling miserable. I couldn't make it through the day without wanting to sleep. I didn't have any energy. I was doing everything perfectly. I was, having the soy milk and the oatmeal with the flax and the hemp seeds. And I was eating the tofu with the greens and the arugula. And I was getting the avocado. So I was having a balance of the good fats, but not too much fat. And I felt miserable. Not only did I feel miserable physically and having no energy, and I just felt like I was weighed down, like almost as if I had weight packs on my legs and my arms as I was trying to move around. And then all of a sudden I went and I got into the more ketogenic way of eating. And it was just night and day difference in terms of energy level and how I feel, how I was sleeping. I was starting to I thought I was just going into menopause. I'm 46, going on 47, and 3 weeks on ketogenic diet, getting my period back. I'm feeling great. And so obviously something is different now than it used to be. And so I don't want to get into many details of where I've been. The point is just that people are at different places in their lives. They are at different stages and needs of healing. They have different types of lifestyles. So when I was doing the whole foods plant-based and it really worked for me, I was constantly home all day. And so my main challenge then was overeating, just because stuff was around me and convenience and I could go to the refrigerator anytime. So if that's you, Whole foods plant-based, like starch-based, might really work for you, because if you do whole foods plant-based, like just try to get to 2,500 calories in a day. It's difficult. It is a lot of volume to get to that many calories. And so you can kind of just keep eating and eating, and you will lose weight to a certain point. I mean, eventually you catch up with your basal metabolic rate. Again, that's for another time to talk about. And so it can work for you. Me, I travel a lot. I'm sitting here behind my van. I do, I'm not going to talk about what I do, but I travel a lot for work. And when I say I travel, I'm not saying, airport to airport in metro cities where everybody can find an acai bowl and everybody can find a smoothie and everybody can find tofu. In the year of our Lord 2026 in America, everybody can find vegan options in a lot of places. It's not that difficult. No, I'm talking about I'm driving 50 miles away from the nearest Walmart or grocery store out in the middle of nowhere to pipelines, and I'm going into places that they don't even have a Dollar General. Okay, that's how rural they are. They've just got what me in a city would just call a convenience store. And like the idea that I'm going to eat any of that probably 2-week-old fruits and vegetables or come across tofu is a joke. If I were going to eat plant-based and vegan in those areas, I would have to be eating Captain Crunch cereal, and that's obviously not a healthy and nutritious way to eat. So we all have to kind of like find what works for us. And so what I want this channel to be is I want us to kind of, I'll take some videos that are more topical where we'll get into the different diets and the pros and the cons, and I'll share kind of my experience of what was good about it, what didn't go so well for it. But also I want to create a place to talk where we can all get together, because I've noticed over the years as the diet wars kind of go on is that everybody kind of gets into these little groups. There's Facebook groups, there's people on YouTube, and they have their own little groups that kind of support each other, and they're very narrow. They're to juice fasting or to raw vegan or to regular whole foods plant-based vegan, the starch solution, carnivore, keto, dirty keto, calories in, calories out. There's all these different kind of approaches, and we all get in them. But then how does that really help us? How does that really help us? What if, as you're going through one, you're getting a relationship with somebody who's on a similar journey to you, and they need help, and they need focus, and they need encouragement, and all of a sudden you just find out, I can't do this for whatever reason, and then you just lose that relationship, and you just lose that support because you're no longer in that group. And so I would like to be the person on YouTube that tries to start a no dogma, healthy approach to weight loss, and just encourage everybody and accept everybody where they're at and talk and learn together and piece together. Because here's the other thing too. What works for you, and I know this as being a morbidly obese person, what works for you at 400 pounds will not necessarily be what you need to do at 200 pounds when you're trying to get that last 50 off. Okay. And I'm not saying that just from my weight loss at different stages that I've done. I'm also saying that from, I have put in so many hours watching YouTube and following people who have successfully lost weight. I can't think of any one of them. I can't think of any one of them who are doing exactly the same today as they were doing 10 years ago. Okay. And that's even the most dogmatic ones that are out there. So Freely the banana girl, she just pound the 30 bananas a day was her whole thing, and she was thin. And, I don't want to bash these people. I've learned from everybody, please, let's make this clear. Everybody that I'm going to mention today, the only reason I know anything about them to talk about them is because I have learned something from them. So even if their way did not work for me and I have my own critiques of it, that is not to say that you can't learn something from it. They wouldn't be popular if they weren't onto something. They wouldn't be popular if it wasn't helping somebody somewhere. And everybody has their testimonials. So again, this shouldn't even be controversial to say this. Okay. So even Freely the banana girl, who was very adamant. Like I don't know if they ever for very long were strict raw vegans, because eventually she did the raw till 4 thing. And that was kind of like a way of optimizing the fruit and getting the fructose in, but obviously recognizing that people kind of have weakness. It's hard for them socially to just eat nothing but fruit all the time. They do like that kind of satiating, savory cooked meal at a certain point of their day. And so she kind of developed this raw till 4 thing so that you would have your cooked starch-based meal that was low fat in the evening. She's eating bread now, you know? I don't even know what she's doing now. She's doing a bunch of different things. But the point is that she's not doing what she was doing. And then on the other side of the spectrum, I've watched a lot of people. Now, these people were less dogmatic. I'm just bringing this up as a point to just show change over time. You've had people that have lost considerable, like over 100 pounds, 150 pounds being carnivore. And at first they were kind of like almost dirty keto. And by dirty keto, we mean like they might have used the fake breads that are more nut-based and things like that, and not necessarily all whole foods ketogenic. So, you know, they came from dirty keto, then they kind of cleaned up and did clean keto, and then they switched to carnivore and everything changed for them. And they did carnivore for a long time, lost 150 pounds, but then they started getting their stall. And so for that last, 50 pounds or so, 30 to 50 pounds, they found that they had to cut out dairy. So now they're like really strict carnivore where they're eating just meats and eggs and butter. And that's what it took for them. So what good does it do? And then what if carnivore stopped working for them entirely? And for the last, 30 to 50, they found that their life became more manageable if they went to a more plant-based approach to do the last 50. Again, are they going to lose all their carnivore friends? And I've seen it. I have seen on both the vegan side and the carnivore side, the people who say, this doesn't work for me, and they show bad blood work. They show the scale not moving. I have seen the same gaslighting and bypassing on both sides of the spectrum. You're not doing it right. Okay. They show what they eat. They show their food logs. They show their activity trackers on their watches so that they're moving. Oh, you're not doing it right. Okay. And then when that doesn't work, the no true Scotsman fallacy. Oh, you were never truly a vegan. You were never truly carnivore. You didn't believe in the one true church of carnivore. You didn't believe in the one true church of veganism. And you were never truly one to begin with. And that's why it didn't work for you. Too flat out just thinking that they're lying. And I've witnessed it where one woman, they were basically saying she was an alcoholic. They were saying that she was sneaking alcohol. And that's why her blood work on carnivore was horrible. And so everybody takes it very personally when their way of eating doesn't work out for them. And they just vilify people. And so I would like to try to make a space where that doesn't happen. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to document for at least 365 days. I'm going to do a whole year documenting of my weight loss journey that I am starting now. And I hope I'm going to call them like Let's Talk sessions. And I want to save space for people who just are, the thing that they want most is to feel good and want to get up in the morning and live their lives. And to do that, they need to be healthy. They need to get weight off of them, because you see these hills over there? I want so badly to go hiking in those hills over there. But I can't do that right now because, in all honesty, you can't see what's on the other side of this camera. There's more of a parking lot by a campground. I could barely walk a loop of this parking lot right now without being huffing and puffing. And that makes me sad. And that makes me limited. And that makes me stay in my home more and watch TV. And then TV starts to bore me. So then I'm on social media more. And then I'm consuming, even though I don't really want to, the crap of social media. Okay. So, I'm not a body positivity person. That's a kind of touchy subject because I am in a way. I'm in acceptance, but I'm not in fat acceptance. I think there's a nuance there. And so I'd like to have a whole chat with you all on that and see what your guys' thoughts and opinions are on that. And maybe you have some perspective for me there, because I'm definitely not a fat acceptance person. I do think that we need to be healthy. And I'm going to talk a lot about spirituality in this group too. And I hope to bring, so what am I hoping to bring? Is this just another weight loss channel? In some ways, yes. In some ways I plan to do the typical things that we see with weight loss channels, where I'm going to have my weigh-ins and I'm going to show my activity and what I'm eating in a day, kind of a thing. But beyond that, I want to have real topics. I want to analyze the science and where it's at for the various different ways of eating. And I want to have days where we talk about topics like fat acceptance. And I also want to bring in spirituality. And so one of the things that I hope to bring to this space too is a little bit broader of a spiritual space. I find that a lot of the weight loss groups get really Christian dominant in our culture. It's very much like Jesus and the Lord, and this is what the Bible says. And it's so funny to me, because you will have vegans that use the Bible to support being plant-based and vegan. Like, oh, this is the Garden of Eden diet, and this is the Daniel plan. And then you'll have people that use the Bible that are showing all the places, obviously, in the Bible where you're eating meat and that God gave the earth. And both sides can justify it. The book has something for everyone, truly. And so I don't want to be disparaging of any faith, but I also want to make space for people who maybe don't have faith. What are you going to use for your encouragement? Obviously, the people who have a faith-based form of motivation, it really helps them. So what do non-faith driven people have in common? What about people who have alternative spiritualities? How do they use it? And so I hope to kind of explore those things as well, too. So this is my kickoff video. As of this morning, I'll have to post my stats. I don't know how much I'm going to post stats in the video. I may. I think at the end of the week, I'll post stats in a video. For dailies, I'm going to post that on my Instagram channel. So I'll put the links to my Instagram page below. So I think I was 430 pounds this morning. So I have gained a lot of weight. We can talk about how that happened in a later video. But this is me. My name is Shauna. And I finally feel great. I finally feel amazing. I finally found a way of eating that just keeps me even through the day, and I have energy, and it makes me want to go out there and work out, and it has evened out my moods. I'm psychologically different, and I think this is going to be it. So I want to go all in. I want to go all in right now on this. And that's part of the reason why I'm making this channel too, because this is going to be my accountability. And so you're going to see, maybe I fail. Maybe you're just like, oh, that fat chick making excuses. That's why she broke vegan. Whatever. Then great. Watch me fail. Tune in till next time to watch me fail harder. Okay? That'd be awesome. I don't really care, because I want to make space here for people who just want support. They want community from people who are kind of in the same boat. We're all in our same struggle. Let's encourage each other. Let's not shit on what is working well for others. If somebody asks us for our opinion on something that might be critical, if all of a sudden something was working and then it doesn't work, and then you want to open up and be like, hey, I want to make a side chat. This isn't working for me for any reason. Does anybody have opinions on that? What's your alternative view? If somebody asks, then grant it to them, but don't go shitting on what other people are doing. Let's just build each other up. Let's hold each other accountable. Let's make space for one another, and let's just fucking be awesome. Okay? Like, that's all. We just want to be awesome. And so I guess on a parting note, I will discuss the name of my channel. And I don't want to get too philosophical right now. I'll kind of just tease the meaning of it, and I'll kind of unpack it in some later videos. But it's called Unbecome, because one of the things that I am slightly more dogmatic about right now over the years is so much of diet culture is about yearning and striving. One day you'll be thinner. One day you'll be fit. You got to get better. You got to get disciplined. And it all comes from this, you are small. Some places they actually think that you're an addict, I am a sugar addict. I am a carboholic addict. I am a food addict. Okay. So it's this language of less than, brokenness, and you need to get committed, and you need to stop being a moral failure, and you need to make the right choices, and you need to get better, and you need to strive, and you need to grow in discipline. And so it's a very moralistic way of looking at things. It's a very, you are not complete yet, and there is this future state where theoretically you are going to become more complete, you are going to become more whole. And through other experiences that I've had, I just do not think that is real. I think that we need to invert it. I think that the reality is inside we are all already whole, and we are fine, and we are okay, and we are worthy of love, and we can be happy in just a simple state that we are. And it is all the things that we have become in life, all of the different scripts that we have been taught by our family and society that have trained us to behave in a certain way, that have to do certain things. All of those things are additions to our wholeness. You know, we were not broken. We were not like little embryo people that just never fully evolved into an enlightened, fully healthy being. No, we were always whole. We were always perfectly fine. And I don't say perfect, I say perfectly fine, because that's part of it too. This drive to exceptionalism that I think can drive a lot of eating disorders and things in these gurus. I think perfection is a concept. So perfectly fine means in our beings, how we are, it's good. Just being is the goal for me. To me, that's the true spiritual path, is learning how to just be, and just be happy with that, content with that, at peace with that, have joy with that. And so much of this diet culture is about kind of throwing you on your back heels into your brokenness, so that then you need that guru, you need that diet, you need these things so that you can be better. You got to try, it's hard, you got to strive. You're going to be, especially in like a lot of the male spaces for weight loss, a lot of that like stoic philosophy, and you got to achieve, you got to be disciplined, you got to do hard things, which there is a place for that. And again, I'll talk more about that in a later video. But again, this is just a preface that I don't want to participate in that. And again, I just said that critique, and I say that critique not to put down people who right now are using that to be successful, because again, like that's what's out there. That's what saturates the environment for weight loss. And so you're probably engaging in it yourself. I know that I did. And so if you're doing that and it's kind of helping you keep your focus and keep that motivation and get to the next step, great. I don't have a critique for you on that if it's working for you, okay? But I do want to have a discussion. And if it is working for you in the future, I will label the videos more specifically and try to keep that conversation to those areas. Because again, I don't want to deflate and shit on something that's working for you. But I do want to make a video for the people who it's not working for, to maybe re-perspectivize their weight loss in a different way. Because again, I want to come from a place not of shame, not from I am less than and I am broken and I need to be made whole and I need to be made better and I need to achieve. I want to come at this from a place of I wake up every day and I'm eating the right food, so I just feel good and I just want to go be awesome that day. That's it. I want to be awesome. I want to be awesome and joyful that day. Loving, awesome, joyful. And if I'm loving, that means I'm going to love myself too. And I'm not going to put crap into my body. And if I want to be awesome, that means I want to go do something. Even if I just want to like sit and meditate for 4 hours, okay? Like that takes energy to not fall asleep while you're meditating. So if I want to be awesome, I need to have energy, which means I need to get the proper amount of exercise in, which means I need to get my water, which means I need to get my sunlight. And so I want to eat in a way that allows me to be joyful and loving and awesome. And so I don't want to do things because I am an addict and I need to surrender to a higher power because of my addiction is stronger than me. I don't want to do something because I am bad and I just love killing animals so much. That's why I want to eat the fat and whatever. I mean, once you start realizing the psychology of what they're doing to fat people, it's really abusive. It's really abusive. And in our society, one of the last few marginalized people that you can abuse are fat people. It's just acceptable still. And so that's what I want to overcome. So you'll start seeing it a little bit more, I think, just by listening to me in general. And there has to be a better way. So I am making the better way in myself, and I'm going to share it with you. And I hope that it encourages you. And I hope you just share your stories with me and you come to the conversation, because like I said, I learn from everybody. I think that's one of my superpowers. You could be the nuttiest nutterburger that's out there, and you probably have something that you're going to say that I find interesting and I learn from. So, and I attract nutter butters maybe for that reason, because I'm open. So, I have like a flag for the nutter butters, and they come and they find me and they talk to me, and I love them, you know? So yeah, please join the conversation. I don't think it necessarily means that you're a nutter butter if you want to join the conversation with me. Because normal people do talk to me too. But anyways, so I'm coming to you from Southern California. I don't know how much I want to disclose where I am. I'm sure some people doing some OSINT could probably figure out with just the range and where I'm at, and they've been in the area. They'll figure it out and they'll start commenting on it. There'll be a Reddit thread one day. But I'm not going to broadcast it. But I'm going to try to mix it up, be in some beautiful places. Because again, I want to encourage people to just get out, go to your park, go to wherever is pretty and open, closest to you. And yeah, so I'll be seeing you. Until then, my more to lovelies, be awesome.